you are deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or probably poor. My name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. You can hear all about me and my best friend Cody Rhodes at AEW Insider.
What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for our YouTube edition of the AEW Insider. As always, we got a really good show. If you want to find out how you can win a Series 1 AEW action figure, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. Let's get right to the news. AEW. Dustin Rhodes talked about his match with his brother Cody, aka the one when he was bleeding profusely, and the effects it had on him after. He said, "I did bleed excessively, and I was very, very worried about that, and Cody was worried about that. I'm sitting there and I'm getting dizzy, and it's not stopping. And Cody's like, do we need to go? Should we go home? And I'm like, no, let's do this." I was fine. But man, it was a gusher and it was coming out and wouldn't stop. I was very dizzy for a couple days, but after that match, I was like, wow, such a weight had been lifted. And at that moment right there, I found my passion again. I got up for a suplex on the top and I started to get dizzy and we had to go. Otherwise, we were going to end up on the floor, and we did it. And it was okay. Thank God everything went off as planned. But man, it was slippery, very dizzy. It was just one of those touching moments, man. He also called his brother Cody a few days ago, and he went on record and said that if he does not beat that son of a bitch Kip Sabian in the TNT title tournament, that he will retire. Jim Ross touched on WWE hoarding talent to keep them away from AEW. He said, at some point in time, you've got almost to go into some of these talents and say, look, the economy's changed. The model has changed. Things are different than they were before, and we've got to adjust. So not unlike an NFL contract, we need to renegotiate your deal. But I think that some of these talents had massive salaries. For guys coming up and working 3 or 4 times a month, it's just not good business. And a lot of people believe that the real reason all these talents are being stockpiled is because WWE did not want to give in and let them go for the easier road, aka travel to AEW. To me, that was very short-sighted. It also tells me that maybe people there don't have total confidence in their own management philosophy. WWE, they're fucking NFL, right? They didn't need to stockpile everybody in the world. Kenny Omega has released a great match between him and Carl Anderson. At that time, Omega's ring name was Scott Carpenter, and Anderson was called Killshot. It is our match of the week. If you want to check it out, go to our Facebook. I posted it. It's pretty damn good. WWE. In a very cool-ass move, WWE is holding Money in the Bank from the WWE Towers this year. Listen to this. This year's Money in the Bank men's and women's match participants will have an even more unique challenge ahead of them than usual. The match begins on the ground floor at WWE headquarters, but the briefcases containing the contracts for a championship match for any time or any place will be hanging all the way up on the roof of the corporate tower. It's unclear if both men's and women participants will compete in the match at the same time, but photos which leaked online of the setup of Titan Towers make it look like 2 briefcases may be hanging at the same time. Also, they're bringing back more cinematic matches for Money in the Bank, which I do love, but I don't want them to overuse these type of matches. I want them to be good. If they kill this way of shooting matches because they do it too much, I will be pissed. Somebody at the tapings behind the scenes said, matches were filmed in a more cinematic manner, but we don't know if it will be more akin to the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse match, or the Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano match. A backstage source also said there was a hiccup that caused filming to stop for an undetermined period of time, but it was eventually settled. AJ Styles made a video about his peeps, the OC, getting released. He said, if you guys didn't know, Gallows and Anderson, 2 guys that are like my brothers, were released. That one really hurt bad. The only way I know how to explain it is that these guys are my family and I couldn't take care of my little brothers. That's the way I feel about it. I'm the oldest and I'm supposed to take care of them. I didn't manage to do that and I feel responsible in some weird way for them being released. It's devastating. I don't know any other way to explain it. With all the talk about WWE being essential television, I don't know whether it is or it isn't, but I know I'm glad to be able to entertain. I'm glad to be able to still do my job. I still want to be able to at least do that. I don't understand why people complain about it and then go bury the company for releasing people. You can't have both. We gotta be able to work. If you don't work, your business can't take money. Styles also said that the release of Gallows and Anderson made him feel alone. Those guys were with me all the time. We were with each other all the time. And I never felt more alone than yesterday. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna see them. And I told you peeps that he would be pissed because WWE kind of used his people as a ploy to get him to re-sign. AJ Styles probably would have re-signed anyway because they treat him really good, but with his boys there, that was definitely incentive for him to stay with the company, and then they backdoored everybody. Carl Anderson should be fine. He shared a video following his release which teases him going back to Japan. Members of the Bullet Club had been teasing a possible return as well. He's one of the original members of the Bullet Club. His name's Machine Gun Anderson, and I can't wait to see him back in that ring. My boy Dolph Ziggler gave a shout out to some fired WWE employees on SmackDown. Dolph Ziggler came out, and what he was wearing was a Zack Ryder Kurt Hawkins t-shirt. He had a button-up shirt over it, but he soon took it off to show everybody what he was rocking under the button-up. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins were released this week from WWE, and Dolph has obviously not forgotten about them. I love how he said fuck the higher-ups and just busted it out on live TV. Also on SmackDown, Sonya Deville did a killer promo. After that, Natalya tweeted that she was not buying the so-called BS Sonya was saying, which Sonya simply replied, "Suck it, cat lover." Also on SmackDown, Big E won the tag titles for the 6th time for the New Day. Good news for one Fire wrestler, and I have to say this since his release, he's been doing some killer-ass promos. There already is a lot, and I do mean a lot of interest from promotions for EC3. He spoke with NWA before he signed with WWE a couple years ago. So I hear NWA wants him, Impact wants him, AEW wants him. EC3 is a huge talent, and his new gimmick and promos are kicking a lot of ass. I can't wait to see what he does next. Also released from WWE was Tainara Conti, who a few months ago was bitching about pay in her schedule and stuff like that, and also Tino Sabatelli. That sucks for him. He's an ex-football player, and he's fucking good in the ring. He's got the look, the physique, and he was even lucky enough to mess around with Mandy Rose. He has been in NXT for many, many years, so best of luck to you. And I also found out today that it was confirmed that WWE also released Cassius Ohno, a.k.a. Chris Hero. He's going to go back to his Chris Hero name, and hopefully other places will use him like the star he is. His entire run before WWE kicked ass. Let's hope he can knock off a few pounds, and he gets back into Chris Hero fighting form and starts kicking some ass again. Good luck to all you guys. We all know that WWE legend Howard Finkel passed away. Tommy Dreamer actually posted a pic. When you're in a hospital, you can have wants, things that you want. Howard Finkel was such a diehard WWE fan and employee. On his want list for the hospital, he actually left a note that said, please put this channel on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Monday Night Raw is on. So he watched it up until the time he died. A lot of people weighed in on it, so I took a couple of those. Vince McMahon said this about Howard Finkel's passing. Saddened to learn of the passing of my friend and WWE's first employee, WWE Hall of Famer Howard Finkel. The grandest moments in sport entertainment history were all made grander thanks to Howard's iconic voice. Hulk Hogan said, Howard Finkel was always on Team Hogan through and through, the good and bad times. Even when I was on the outs, Howard would call on a consistent basis to tell me to always keep my head up. It was a never say never, and you and Vince will work it out. Good friend, I love you for life, brother. And also, Chris Jericho said, thanks, Howard, for being the best wrestling ring announcer in history and a great employee for the WWE. A good guy and a loyal lackey. Hopefully you'll announce my entrance into the great unknown when I join you there someday. And I say Godspeed, Fink. and thank you for everything. Colby Covington still wants Drew McIntyre in the ring, and this time Bobby Lashley got involved. Colby ran his mouth online, and Drew replied, "Surprised you're still running your mouth." Lashley jumped in and said, "Watch out, Colby, you might upset the chosen one." Drew replied, "Don't you have marriage problems you need to worry about?" And Lashley said, "Easy, man. I was just letting him know. I still have your back, champ," followed by a thumbs up. So you know Lashley has his sights on Drew's title, and hopefully they'll be going at it sooner or later for it. Now, the site in California for WrestleMania 37 just delayed their grand opening until further notice. As of right now, WWE has been researching a plan B on an alternate site to host WrestleMania 37. If it doesn't open, or if the state of California is not allowing large gatherings at that time. Vince McMahon has directed all on-air talent, not to mention the name Roman Reigns. Sometimes I do not get why that mad genius does the things he does. Bodyslam.net got a hold of some concept art for the Revival's comedy act. A few months ago before their release, you could tell the writers were starting to set them up for some comedic things for the tag team. It has been said that Vince McMahon himself brought the sketches to the duo. Thank God they did not go with the idea. Just look at these sketches. And Jinder Mahal has finally been cleared to wrestle, and he's ready to go. I'm hoping he might pop up at Money in the Bank. I liked him as WWE champ, even though everybody else and their mothers absolutely despised him. I love good heel work. Random wrestling news. Now, never one for a loss of words, Jim Cornette had some things to say about Howard Finkel also. He said, "Probably the most popular, most universally-liked WWF employee over the last 40 years. I don't think anybody ever got mad at Howard Finkel or ever had anything bad to say about him. Even though they ribbed him and they messed with him, he always said, 'I'm verklempt.' That was Howard's favorite word, right? That's how I learned it, verklempt. But Fink was the most dedicated employee they ever had. Sometimes they didn't treat him that way. I know people say, well, you rib people in wrestling if you like them. I think they went too far sometimes, with the stripping him on TV to his underwear or whatever. And also about Fink's dedication to the WWE. He was always cheerful. He was always the first one to get to the office in the morning, and he'd do what he called the Finkel Report, where every morning back in those days, there was really no internet, so to speak, and there were a lot of hotlines, and of course the newsletters. Fink would get there first thing in the morning, and he'd listen to all the hotlines, and he'd go through all the newsletters. And then when websites started becoming a thing, he'd go through all of those. He typed them up, and my God, he must have been able to type like the wind. I don't know, it was like 7 in the morning. I was never at Titan Towers at 7 in the morning. But he typed those long Finkel reports, summarizing anything he thought Vince McMahon would like, the creative staff, or the talent relation office. He wanted to make them aware. And it was to the point where he was so reliable that if writing day, when me and Bruce were at Vince's house and it would be 9:30, quarter to 10, and the Finkel report wouldn't have come out yet, Vince would actually ask, "Have you seen the Finkel report, pal?" Because he'd have it by the time everybody got to the office. Even Vince at 8 or 8:30, whatever, would want to have that thing ready. Well, personally, I am a huge fan of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. He, like the rest of us, has been tracking WWE firings, and he made this tweet. "So I see a bunch of wrestlers were released for the WWE. Kurt Angle. Rusev? I have a place for you truly to show what you're made of. Let me know if you're interested." Now that is awesome. Bloodsport kicks ass, Rusev will be the bomb, Angle's body's way too beat up, but maybe he could do some commentary. I hope they take him up on that. And finally, Jimmy Snuka's Dark Side of the Ring was released, and whoa, as always, it was a good one. It's very, very sad what happened to his ex-girlfriend and what her family had to go through. Alright, peeps, well that's it. Remember, if you want to win a Series 1 AEW action figure, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. You have to do those 4 things. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and boom, you're in the running. And I don't want to hear any bitching from you guys. If you want to win one, you have to do all 4 of those things. If you don't, which a lot of you are not, you're not going to be in the running, and I don't want to hear your mouths. You have to subscribe, like, share, and comment. A comment without a like and share, it doesn't count. A share without a comment or like doesn't count. So if you want to win a figure, make sure you do all 4, and you will be in the running. All right, peeps. I'll see you in a couple days. Ciao.